What ban? Who is fooling who? What ban? Pursuant to what law? I heard that Malami was talking out of his ass as usual, and he was talking about prosecuting people. I'm on Twitter, Mr. Malami. I would enjoy the rest in yourself. Might as well come and carry me, because truth of the matter is, what law am I breaking because I'm on Twitter? It's an expression of my fundamental rights. It doesn't even have to be in the fraudulent charter they are calling the 1999 Constitution. It's my human right. It's ingrained. It's inside of me. It's the basis of my humanity. You can't take that away from me by any legislation. Let's understand very clearly that the validity of any law itself rests on the fact that it is not repugnant to natural justice and common sense. How do you presume to tell me what laws I may or may not obey? The one that is seeking to take away my rights as a human being? That obviously doesn't make any sense. So if Mr. Malami elects to speak out of his hands, I might elect to ignore him, as I have rightly ignored him right now. So no, me, I'm on Twitter. You know what they call VPN, right? And I'm sure even the one, El Rufai, knows exactly what they call VPN. If he's busy tweeting and he's tweeting the nonsense that he's tweeting, and all their other influencers and things are busy tweeting nonsense up and down the place. Look, there is a conscious duty on a human being to ignore, with righteous indignation too, stupid laws. In this case, there isn't even a law. Since when does Malami's wishes become laws? So please, we can talk about, there is no law that gives a power that also does not limit the exercise of such powers. Where in our constitution does General Buhari or his man Friday, the attorney general, because that one is certainly not the attorney general of this federation, where do they derive the power to summarily ban the? I beg, please, I will be happy to have them put some of us. It will be very interesting to even see what law. So please, is there. I wish I could be a little taller than I am, but I ain't. And I can't do anything about that. So yeah, they might wish they have some law by which we might be gagged, such as Decree 2, maybe another Decree 4. But fortunately for us, those who died leading up to this stupid republic we are calling a democracy, they paid a price. Part of that price is to guarantee our rights to freely express ourselves as human beings. So until they have come out to tell us it is no longer a democracy, even though it's a pretense, let them have the courage to come out clearly and declare the fascist dictatorship that we are truly living in. Nigeria is not a democracy. And it is very easy to blame this on the frail old man in Aso Rock and claim it's about Buhari. It's not just about Buhari. It's a system. Nigeria runs on impunity. It's not a democracy. That is why it is critical to those who benefit from the system to silence those who speak out against the abnormality of a system of governance that guarantees pains to those being ruled and elevates the rulers as though they are feudal lords. That's not a democracy. Nigeria is a fascist dictatorship. You want more proof? Let me show you one. The prime mover of Sahara, on whose platform I'm privileged to be speaking right now. Where is he? Constitutionally imprisoned in Abuja because it suits the whims and caprices of the powers that be inside the rock in Aso. Whether it is as a ventriloquist or whether he is the one who wields it, the law does not matter, because the law now follows the body language of the captive. So an unlawful captive is rendered lawful because the system itself is not subjected to law. How many Fulani headsmen, how many bandits have been kept in prison? How long has Shore been in a more or less like, what do you call it? A hostage of the state? How long has he been there? Lawfully too. A judge truly believes that Omoyele Sowore is an existential danger to the Nigerian state sufficiently to warrant keeping him in what is lawful hostage, quote and unquote, now. And we are meant to be in a democracy. Don't let's fool ourselves. Where is Daddy Yatta? Where is Daddy Yatta? How many people are we supposed to be asking about? What happened on the 20th of October? Does that happen in democracies? And it's not about Buhari. Buhari was nowhere near Lagos on the 20th of October. Buhari had nothing to do with the Nigerians who were busy lying to themselves that everything was hunky-dory and those who were crying were lying. They had nothing to do with disbelieving DJ Switch. Buhari was safely ensconced wherever he was. He pulled no trigger. Buhari wasn't the journalist who saw the truth and did not speak. Buhari is not the doctor in the hospital who saw the truth and has not spoken. Buhari is not the mortuary attendant who was there and saw the several dead. But we always say Buhari because we refuse to face the facts that we have a system that thrives on impunity and we are in truth, not a democracy. First thing first, we properly educate ourselves so that we understand what we are dealing with instead of lying to ourselves using cliches that do not capture our reality. For instance, some people will prefer to couch what we're dealing with as a pro-democracy struggle. Come, don't lie to yourselves. It's got nothing to do with pro-democracy. You've got to be human first. You have to be citizens first before you have the right to self-determination, which is the expression of democracy. We are not even citizens. Our humanities are discountenanced. Look at what they're telling us after their review. They've more or less announced to us that the hegemony that has given us the 1999 Constitution has been inherited by a new one, which is telling the Nigerian people that, yeah, we hear you, we'll see what we can do to aggregate your wishes, but it doesn't matter what you want. It is what we agree as between ourselves as a class that matters more. It was exactly what happened in 1999, and they will come out and say that is a constitutional review. So when you ask me, how's the way out of all this, right? It's a simple, straightforward question. First thing first, the Nigerians need to properly define the nature of their struggle. This is not a pro-democracy struggle. It's a liberation struggle. The only Nigerian that is truly in anything called citizenship class are our rulers, and they are not even citizens of Nigeria. They are either carrying, okay, look at this, and where is she today? They are not citizens of Nigeria. There is nobody in the ruling class that does not have a secondary citizenship of some other country. Their homes are outside Nigeria. Their doctors, they are outside Nigeria. Their children's schools outside Nigeria. We sit down here and we do not, if we don't correctly identify the nature of our fight, we'll fall for it again. We'll think, oh, maybe the struggle should be about secession. Or maybe, look, at the end of the day, when people are pushed to the wall, they respond somehow. But we've got to get to the point where we move beyond our emotions and look at all of our options. The only thing Nigerians have never tried, we've never, in over 60 years of our history, we've never tried to unite. Have a common purpose behind which we unite ourselves. That is the challenge of everybody who consider themselves a Nigerian revolutionary. If you are a Nigerian revolutionary, it doesn't mean you love Nigeria the way it is. I dislike it intensely. I would die to see this country change from this way it is. I wouldn't die. I don't want to die to break it up. I'm not interested in dying for that cause. But I would like to see this country change, become what it can be. This is a blessed land. Yes, we are diverse. Yes. The Fulani man is completely different from Igbo. He's different from me, a Yoruba man. And I am different from him too. All I ask is equity. Each person understanding and respecting the other person's space. What about all the minority tribes? What are they supposed to say? The ones we subsume beneath others. The hangars that we just call Hausa. The TVs that we used to ignorantly just call. Everybody across the Niger was once upon a time Hausa. Everybody across the Benue, that one that goes to when you cross Onitsha. Everybody from that place, we used to refer to them as Igbo. That was the extent of our lack of knowledge about the diversities of our land. But that is not sufficient reason to die to break it up. I would die gladly to change it, but not to break it up. Because breaking it up does not address the problems of the Nigerian state. It only allows you to be channeled into the space desired by those who profit from the current situation. When you break it up, what happens to all those people who have looted us into this condition? How do you go after them? How do you make them account for their crimes? They go away with their loot. Where is Diezani today? She's a diplomat flying all over the place with her money. And there will be several others. And there are several others. She's just the poster child for Nigerian impunity. But the reality is that merely points you to the future. Ordinary councillor, local government councillor has second passport now. And then the real victims who should be interested in seeing justice done, they want to help themselves to set fire to the place. You set fire to the place, all the beneficiaries of this system, they escape. But the wars that you are calling, it will be fought on our own doorsteps. Those who I can run, I probably could act, even if I don't have a plan B, C, D, E, F, G. I am blessed with sufficient brain power to be able to imagine a plan B, C, D all the way to the end of the alphabet. But what about those who have nowhere to go? Are they less human? So you begin to understand very clearly that our salvation lies in trying what we've never tried. And the only thing we've never tried is to unite, understand the commonalities of our afflictions. Our humanities are the same. The Fulani man wants the same thing for his own. Yeah, he might want it differently. He might desire a Quranic way of life, and I don't think the Fulani man is even a fundamentalist Muslim. No, he enjoys his own pastoral life. Whatever everybody intends to pursue, they should be able to pursue it within a system anchored on law that is respectful of other people's right to exist in their own land and in their own space in the way they desire to exist. You can't come into my space seeking to impose your will, and I will not come into yours seeking to impose mine. My mother used to say when I was growing up that she could live with a mad person or a group of mad persons as long as everybody is clear as to the fact that there are rules by which they would all live. And as long as each person is obeying the rules set up, as crazy as you care to be, as long as you're crazy within your own clearly defined boundaries and space, she was fine with that. And it is the reality that is how human beings coexist. We live together in spite of our differences and diversities if we all agree to be bound by laws that are commonly binding on all of us. But that is no longer the case with the Nigeria we are in now. And it's rarely ever been the case. And unless we find a way to do that as a people and as a collective, we're about to be plunged into a long, drawn civil war, painful, stupid, and very avoidable if we use our brains. The question is that there is actually a gap between your own expectations of the National Assembly, the design intentions, and the reality. You have to balance these. Your question presumes that you are expecting that they should do certain things. But the question you need to actually ask yourself is, were they designed to meet your expectations? Answer is, they were not designed to meet your expectations. And that is why they have never met your expectations. That's the design intention. Their intention is to maintain the state, the apparatus of the state, whilst they feed, and the people themselves are impoverished in order to maintain the system. That is why you cannot expect any changes to you. They do not flow from your will. Something created them, and it has nothing to do with an aggregation of the will of the Nigerian people. So when the Nigerian people now turn to these people in expectation of the fulfillment of their own will that has never been expressed, in bringing these people into being, or maintaining them for that matter, because I must tell you, your votes do not count, and you know it. You have a nation of 200 million people, and less than 30 million people have voted in any elections. Who is fooling who? It's because there is a disconnect. The people understand that they are not part of that system. The system is not set up to serve them. So it is those who are, even with all these 30 million, less than 30 million, is always with all the rigging, the inflation of votes. The people are alienated from the system. So when you ask this question, they can't meet my expectation, and they will never meet your own either. But they will certainly meet the expectations of those who designed the system ab initio. Because those designers of the system, that's why they can retire into plush homes on hilltops. That's why a man like Babangida can expect to die peacefully in his bed, as unpeacefully as I hope his death will be. The reality of the matter is very simple. The Nigerian system is not designed to serve the Nigerian. It is designed to serve a class. It is lazy, intellectually indolent to claim that it is designed to serve the North. Yes, once upon a time it was designed to serve the North. But what is the North these days? The North it was designed to serve was inclusive of the Middle Belt. It was inclusive of all the northern minorities. Once upon a time, he had room for the Angas. He had room for the TVs, the Jukuns. He had room for everybody. Even the Okun, Yoruba, and Kogi, they proudly call themselves Northerners. But now he doesn't have room for any one of those. But he's got room, ample room for an Aregbeshola. He's got ample room for an Ngige. So let's understand very clearly that where we are is not where we have lied to ourselves that we were. We have been effectively and constitutionally enslaved. And until such a time as when we break the chain of that enslavement, which is why I call it a liberation struggle, we merely waste our time. We need to clearly identify the nature of our struggle and educate ourselves accordingly. Then we begin the process of mobilization. But that mobilization is not helped if you are talking about it is me, Yoruba, that is marginalized. It is me, Igbo man that is... Everybody in Nigeria outside of the ruling class is marginalized. The real people suffering in Nigeria today are those who have no choice but to call this home. And those are the majority. Why is it so difficult for those majority, that silent majority? Why is it so difficult to rise above the noise of ethnicities, religiosities, all the hatred that we have helped our oppressors to sow? Why is it so difficult to rise above it, to recognize the commonalities of our afflictions? The people in Niger State, I was watching that headmaster of the Islamia school. I was watching him on Arise sometime last week. The guy was weeping. Children started weeping alongside him because the humanities are the same. Regardless of the thoughts and length hatred, the humanities are the same. If that man was a Yoruba man, we will not be talking about his humanities. We'll be talking about his Yorubaness. That's why Children was weeping. That man wasn't Yoruba. The children kidnapped, they are the ones we once upon a time called Northerners, or we'll call them Hausas. Now we're not understanding the difference between this and that, because it is really not about a tribe, it's about a class. It started out hidden within a class, within a tribe. It started out hidden within a region. It was the north. And then it became the Hausa Fulanis. Now it's just the Fulanis. So let's understand clearly. None of those cliches, our old understandings, are still relevant in this age and time. We need to dustbin them straight away so that we clearly understand the nature of our struggle. Expect nothing from the National Assembly. It wasn't designed for you.